absolutely forgotten what that feels like.
I call the Honourable Member Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Malo soifua, and it's a pleasure to take a call on this. As I said earlier during the point of order, the second reading of the Social Security Benefit Categories and Work Focus Amendment Bill. Sir, as Chairman of the Social Services Committee, I just want to thank and acknowledge again the role that our Minister, Paula Bennett, has made to this bill and to the area of welfare, sir, because these reforms are necessary yet reasonable under the circumstances, and I want to thank her for the leadership that she's shown in this welfare area. Sir, these reforms will have a lasting impact on this country because it is about investment in people, it's about investment in services, and it's about backing people to go out and find work where they are able to. Sir, I also want to thank the government officials, the clerks and the Parliamentary Council in assisting our committee to bring this bill back to the House and with its report and commentary, sir. Mr. Speaker, we received and considered 683 submissions from interested groups and individuals on this bill. We heard 83 submissions from 35 organisations and 48 individuals at hearings both here in Wellington and in Auckland. And I want to thank my fellow committee members, including Ms Ardern, despite her misguided approach to these reforms, for the constructive way that we approached these deliberations, and also the submitters for the time and the effort that they put into both the written and oral submissions to this committee. Mr. Speaker, following on from the successful future focus reforms which the Minister has alluded to, and the first welfare reform bill which all members of this House will be aware of last year, this is the second part of a comprehensive package of welfare. So the investment approach is about shifting focus of the benefit system towards better use of resources. And what it does is it puts money up front into services like parenting services, like budgeting services, to reduce the overall cost to those people affected, but also to our economy and to government. It will require a different approach to working with beneficiaries based on their individual circumstances, which the Minister referred to, and it's supported by the best available evidence. The government spends $21 billion on social development, and it's the largest government portfolio and a third of all government expenditure across the country. So we need to make these support services geared towards the 21st century and actually achieving results for taxpayers, which the Minister again referred to in her speech. So this bill includes simplified benefit categories, a greater work focus, new expectations for partners of beneficiaries and work preparation activities. It will also require job seekers to be drug-free, allow benefits to be stopped for outstanding arrest warrants, and include social obligations to ensure that children access the appropriate education and health services. The main policy issues of significance raised by submitters, sir, were in relation to social obligations, the medical assessments of disabled and mentally impaired people, sanctions, as well as procurement. But I'll only touch on two of those. The most contentious issue was the obligation to have preschool children enrolled in and attending early childhood education. Arguments were made around the appropriateness of this to all children, and some interesting and compelling evidence was produced to argue this. Parental choice was referred to, and that this bill would restrict it. So in response to these concerns, the committee worked hard to amend the bill to allow approved programs to be included in the social obligation, with decisions on criteria to be set through ministerial direction. In doing so, we have listened to the submissions of organisations who pointed to the positive and significant contribution of home-based programs for preschoolers. The committee also clarified, sir, the policy intent that the 15-hour target for early childhood attendance is somewhat aspirational, and that the flexibility will be preserved through regulations. The issue of homeschooling was also prevalent in the submissions, and in particular the forceful submission of the Home Education Foundation. The committee amended the bill to clarify that homeschooling meets the school attendance at the age of 5 if the parent meets other criteria for work obligations. This recognises that obviously school attendance is not legally required until the age of 6. Sir, one of the other issues which the committee grappled with was around the drug testing of beneficiaries. This bill does not authorise drug testing, but what it does is it focuses on whether a failed drug test or a refusal to undertake a drug test is acting as a barrier or otherwise to suitable employment.
Thanks, Bob.
In terms of sanctions, sir, the Ministry of Social Development will only act under lawful drug test results with respect to the job being sought. And under sanctions generally, sir, the bill really gives beneficiaries maximum time to recomply at the 3 stages of asking, and it's only a maximum of a 50% financial sanction as a last resort. Sir, I want to finally mention that the issue of advice of the Regulations Review Committee that subsequent changes to the primary legislation should be subject of parliamentary scrutiny, which most members agreed with. So in response to their concerns, we amended the bill so that the annual benefit expiry and reapplication processes apply to all beneficiaries with some exemptions, and these will be done through regulations. Sir, in summary then, we believe that being in paid work is the best thing for people on welfare. It's plain and it's simple. If you can work, you should work, and you should be looking for work, and this bill introduces the requirement for beneficiaries to be required to interview for and accept any offer of suitable employment. This bill introduces social obligations, as we've stated, and it really looks at those families with dependent children, of which there are 220,000 across this country. This bill, as I said in opening, will go a long way to making sure that these kids have the best start to life. It will have some of the most lasting positive impact on families over time, and that is why I support this bill.
I call the Honourable Member Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Labor strongly opposes